Hey there, race fan. It's Grease Eater here. Welcome to the inaugural MODSTOCK Monster Mayhem series, featuring 16 trucks battling it out on 2 tracks. 2 will survive and move on in each division, leaving 8 to compete in the Mod vs. Stocks finals, and ultimately crowning a single champion. Today we have the Mods division battling it out. Let's take a look. First up in the gate, we have Eli Storm versus Phil Fury. Right at the gate, it's Phil pulling in front of Eli with a Fury and takes race 1. Race 2, Eli needs a win to stay in this. He storms out, pulls in front of Fury. Oh, Phil changed lanes, he's passing up Eli. Here comes Eli, who's it gonna be? It's Eli to the line for race 2. Got a nice start there for Eli. Gets out front. Phil says, I'm going to flip-flop. I'm going to go on this side. He's taking the lead. But just before the finish here, it looks like he's rubbing the rail. Slows him down. Eli is able to maintain a straight line and even this up. Tiebreaker. Race 3, lane change. Right out of the gate, it's Phil pulling out in front of Eli, doing exactly what he did in race 1. And Eli is unable to catch him. It's Phil Fury moving on. Next up, Xanthopy on the left versus Z Fox on the right. Out of the gate, Z Fox blazing a nice line way out in front. Oh, taunts a little at the end. Z Fox with race 1. Race 2, Xanthopy wants to stay in this. She's got the early lead. Here's Z rubbing tires. Z Fox passing and takes race 2. Tough loss for Xanth here. Z Fox moves on. Next up, it's Mr. Dark on the left versus Kingfisher on the right. Kingfisher with the hole shot, crossover to the left lane with good lead. Mr. Dark changes over from behind, steps on it, passing Kingfisher for the win. Mr. Dark conjured up some speed, overtaking race 1. Race 2, Kingfisher on the left needs a W here. Mr. Dark looking to end it. Mr. Dark out in front. Kingfisher just can't keep up. Looks like he tried to change lanes, swipe his tire, but he just can't keep up. It's Mr. Dark moving on. Next up in the gate, it's Mike Mays, Max D on the left versus Harry in the Camaro on the right. Mike Mays has a hole shot, but Harry comes over and forces him into the wall, changes lanes, slowing him down. And it's going to be Harry on the 1 spot. Let's take a look at the replay. Looks like Mays, he came out of the gate first. They're kind of battling out. Harry comes over and forces him into the wall and slows him down. Race 2, lane switch. He's looking for a payback. Whoa, Mays out in front, comes over and pushes Harry into the wall. Harry's able to pull out in front. Gets the lead and takes race 2. Man, that was quite an overtake. Let's take a look. Wow, I think Harry got up on top of Mays' wheel and just runs over it. Barrels through, taking the lead. And race 2, moving on to the semifinals. Tough luck for Mays. gonna be Z Fox and Phil Fury. Race 1 with a Fury. It's Phil out in front and maintains it. Easy W for Phil in race 1. Race 2, lane change. Z's on the right looking to redeem with a win. Z out front. Phil tries to catch but just can't catch the Fox. Let's take a look. I think Phil comes over for a bit of a bump after Z Fox has a clear lead, but it doesn't faze Z Fox and takes race 2. Oh, that's nice to see some fans showing their support out here today. Oh, she's easy on the eyes. Race 3, tiebreaker. This will decide not only who will move on to the finals here today, but also secure a spot in the MODSTOCK Monster Mayhem final battle. Let's see who wants it more. Phil out in front with a Fury. It'll be filled by a bus length. Next, it's Mr. Dark and Harry. Good thing that's not just one person. This ought to be a good battle. Both super fast here today. Both fierce competitors. Oh, it's Harry out front. Mr. Dark comes over. He can't get him. Oh, Harry dominates race 1. Let's see what he can do in race 2. Mr. Dark on the right, and that Roger Dodger, he wants to come back here. Let's see. He's got it. Oh, he's out front. He's way out front. Oh, yeah, he's out by at least a truck length. Ooh, and he takes it. So he takes it to a race 3 tiebreaker. Let's see, switching lanes. Here we go. Whoa, whoa, Harry comes over, cuts off Mr. Dark. Oh, Mr. Dark trying to change lanes. Oh, he can't do it. Try to get some speed, but he couldn't get anything going. Harry takes it. So it's Harry moving on to the final. Phil Fury and Harry are making their way up right now. When you get them up in the gate and set them off, this can be a good battle. Whatever. Somebody give me a chili cheese, dog. These boys are ready to go. It's Phil with the whole shot and crossover, switching lanes. Harry crossover, overtaking Phil. Who's it gonna be? Looks like Harry on the one spot. Woo! Wow, let's take a look at that. Here's Phil Fury with a nice lead, but crosses over trying to shut down Harry. Harry then crosses over behind, putting on the brakes just enough not to slow himself down. Phil Fury's a fan of those photo finishes, so he's trying to come in and give it a little something at the end there. Race 2, Phil on the left, Z on the right. Both secured in the final, but they both want to take the W for today. Z is as fast as a fox, as sly as a fox out of the cage, and maintains it for the win. Phil tries to grind a tire, just couldn't keep up with Z Fox. Congrats to Phil Fury of Chaos Canyon, and our champion, Harry, of Mr. Dan and Harry. They'll both move on to battle it out in the final MODSTOCK event, but first they'll head back down to the Lava Gully with the rest of the mods from here today, where they'll compete for the last 2 spots in the final showdown.